Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the 6th day of December 2019. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades of the like, within each his own risk and their own reward. Bitcoin first, then Tezos, but here with BTC. Price action remaining in the 18 average correctionary phase. And it's done so from this last low hit after leaving this level of support in here. What it's going to do, break to the upside or downside, I don't know. But it looked to me as if this was a bearish situation, and, well, it's done the exact opposite. And it still has to get above this shorter term level of resistance. And in any correctionary move, because it's had this type of a gain, if it can hold some sort of move like this, and we'll see it on the shorter term, then that would be definitely beneficial. And when viewing it on the single hour term, it gets very, very interesting. Because amongst it, first off, I mean, all of these failed moves in here. And it had the situation of this, all these multiple hit, like 3-4 times hit support near 72 change. Which then does this little yada yada kind of stuff, doing their thing. And, well, obvious failed breakout. Big, fast move. And this is almost the same as the ones before within the failed move of, which one would it have been? I guess we're going way back now. Yeah, this one in here. So similar thing. But anyway, as it goes, when you have this type of move, it didn't hold what you'd think you'd want it to, but it did hold and stay above this little area that it first established. And in doing so, resisting the 18 highs in start of yesterday's session, retesting previous level, correcting the phase successfully in here. Took a long time. It started it right here at 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday morning. It exited out of it this morning at 11 o'clock. And from the exit, this was a continuation of this test in here, but it did, more importantly, break through this congestion area. It got through this high, and then we can see how it's been correcting this very nicely within the hour. Decently nice above, but still hasn't touched or gotten above this. And getting above here, we're going to start talking about testing this high thereafter that. On any correctionary move, this is a key area where it came from. That's around 7,400. As far as the Bitcoin dominance is concerned, still holding in there nice within the 18 average of highs, but it's doing so amongst microscopic volatility. So next move on to Tezos against Bitcoin. And the daily chart. Where are we now? Where have we come from? Where do we have the potential to go? And these are some pretty easy answers on every single question. Where we came from, at least from the start here, and the earlier stuff is really not that important, but it kind of is. It surprised me that it didn't have big volatility when it came on Binance and all that stuff, because usually when coins get entered on the exchange, it does, but not in this case. A little bit of this failed breakdown in here, but this breakout has most certainly been a successful one, because it originally established this level of resistance, succeeded in correcting the 18. What happened after breaking this established level of resistance? It established a new one. And it didn't take that long for it established it on this day. And then it continued, and then really a pause day for the most part. Then it hit that high the next one. So it did it in a little over a day, couple days or such. And then it comes back down, and we've had several days within this correctionary band. And now we're seeing excitation of it. And you can, when I say, showing strength amongst the highs or showing weakness on the lows or something, this is what showing strength on the highs looks like. And it's exiting out amongst that field. When I see this pattern, this is where we talk about potential for where we could go. The likelihood of this being good resistance to me is very bad. Which means in that statement that it may not be any whatsoever or very little, like 1 minute, 5 minutes. In fact, it's whatever. It could just be short term. And maybe we only come back down to where we come from in here, meet up with the 18 average of lows a bit more. But on a realistic front, what's going to happen is you're going to break out above it and you're going to establish some sort of level of resistance somewhere. And anytime you get to a spot where you should and you don't, then the volatility and rate of ascent can usually just continue to increase, because you never know the wild card on great breakouts like this. We could be looking at a standard 20% gain or 30% gain or something like that, but we could be looking at an unstandard 200 or 2,000% gain, or a 2,000% gain maybe in 20 days from now. Those are all viable, maybe not probable, but viable situations, and that's why I like to talk about stuff with probability odds. The probability odds of Tezos having a 20x gain in 20 days, okay, let's just rephrase that. The chances of Tezos having a 2x gain in, say, 100 hours, about 4 days, is much higher than almost any other coin out there right now, because of its technical indicators, its situation that it has right now, thus the probability it has, we see with the potential break of this resistance. In viewing this amongst the 3-hour term, we can see that on that last high that it did have, it had a lot of periods in which it came up towards this level, and it ultimately was unable to hold this point, as I had this little move in here, but only 2 legs lower, this one and this one. For after establishing this high in here, successfully holding the 18. It didn't hold the 18 in here, but it did hold previous low, which is in a situation when you look at it in here, this is a very volatile, this is an interesting spot, because it could have broke down big from here. It obviously didn't. And when it didn't, it retested previous high. It most certainly A plus correction within the 18. And there's your excitation. It has managed to, and like I stated before, getting up here, the chances you find much resistance at this high just looking at this setup in here. Well, it didn't. It got a little bit above it, it supported, and it's now already had a good leg higher. As again, we're just retesting this previous level of resistance if it breaks it. And previous highs about 1940 or so. If it goes out above it, we're looking at like, till 2000 is not going to be that strong of resistance, I don't think. Maybe for 20 minutes, if that, but I would expect a decent size continuation break higher. And when you're looking for, say, strategy, just ways of profiting, time management especially, I mean, if you're looking for a game, how I want to make a lot per hour when I trade kind of deal. When you look for setups, when these things are breaking out like this, very often you can get in, get good profits, and really in and out really fast. And that's one reason why it might be a good idea for different strategies of, let's try to find all of the setups like that look like this. Of course, myself, I'm not spending too much time on it, but I am impressed right now with how this setup is. And we can see that this area here around 1778, major previous level of resistance. If there is, again, like basically shitty resistance would be like, oh, just come down here. And that's like, oh, it goes down about 6-7%, then it just rallies back up to previous high, and then either breaks it quickly, maybe consolidates there for an hour or two, and then it just breaks it after that, something in that nature. Those are all plausible situations. But if I were to make a calculated guess, okay, what's the more likely situation? A move down to here, which is, what would be 120 plus 150, what's that, about 8%? This versus an 8% rise, which is the same equivalency. I would think rise, but of course the market's always going to do what it's going to do. That'll be it, and I'm going to cover precious metals later throughout the weekend, but this should be pretty obvious if anyone's been following my videos what I'm going to be saying, where I think the market's going to be going next, because silver did end Friday on a statement. Short answer is 1613 clarification pretty much came into play. I'll talk more in depth about that probably sometime Saturday, if not Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.